Walking Stick Library presents Who is Doc Pete Chambers? With your librarian, hostess with the mostest, Eileen Kramer.
Hello, everybody, and Ozora, my beautiful Ozora. She says hello too. She says, please put me down. Once was enough. I get it, Ozora, but everyone has to see how beautiful you are. I'm a cat person. Pete Chambers is a dog person. That is often reason enough to be really antagonistic. We're going to look at Dr. Pete Chambers. Now, he is really a medical doctor, and I can show you that. He's actually a DO, but that's close enough to being a medical doctor for my taste. I'm going to take down the curtain and minimize, and we're going to look him up. And I'm pulling up my web page. This is Miro. We're going to be looking there a bit later. Let me get a clean screen. Let me get Google. Because this is how most of you would do it, and this is how we're going to do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in Texas Medical License Search. And we're going to look up a Texas license, medical license. And we're going to click here to click up a license, and this interface has changed apparently. Let it come up, let it come up. Yes, I accept the terms. We're just going to go find out if he's licensed. I kind of know the answer to this already. This is taking forever. I'm sorry, folks. We're going to have some more fun with this, but this is the first part. Okay, we'll let this wait, and we have other places we can go. This is something Doc Pete is running. This is called the Remmant Ministry. And last night we had despite my sound issues, which really stank, because I didn't leave my make noise on. My make noise does my screen noise. We saw a couple of silent YouTube videos about remnant theology. The remnant are the survivors, the ones who are left. In my prayer book, and I don't have an English language, access to an English language siddur, we might go hunt it down. We ask that we remain an eternal remnant. And that's translated from a much nicer word in Hebrew. I don't know Hebrew very well. I mean, I can sing it. It's a song language. It's a musical language to me. But suffice it to say, in English, remnant means a leftover piece of cloth. It can mean leftovers of lots of things. We can go to, I'm taking a shortcut, and we can go in here and type remnant. You saw this last night, but a remnant can either be a small part or trace remaining, a small surviving group, often used in the plural, or an unsold, unused end of piece goods. That's cloth. And I knew the fabric shop definition of remnant, but I did not know the other definition until I got a lot older. But as a kid, a remnant was that piece of cloth sitting on the $1.99 table. And I always say, when I pray that remnant prayer, that we don't end up on the $1.99 table. That's not a good place to end up. So that's kind of how I understood remnant. But remnant means kind of a grand, glorious. This is not working. Let me see if I can go back and try the traditional one. Look up a license. Let's try it that way. And I'm I'm looking for a physician license. Let's see if it does anything for me. Okay, a little more here. And we're back where we were, and this is not going to cooperate tonight. We're going to try again, see if we do better. Oh, this worked much better. Chambers, Peter. There's our Doc Pete. And we're just going to hit search and see what we get. There he is, Chambers Peters. He had an institutional permit. He lives at, he used to live at 11610 Bee Cave Road, Austin, Texas. And there he is. He is 2 years younger than I am. He has an institutional permit. It began in 1997. It ended in 1999. It was terminated in 2007, not because of disciplinary actions. Let's give this a different kind of click. This gives us what all this is. Okay, this doesn't give us what all this is. But he hasn't practiced medicine in a very long time. His education was New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. He was trained at Doctor's Hospital. He is a family practice physician. We need more primary care physicians. And what he had here was an institutional permit. And doesn't say much about what an institutional permit is in Texas, but we can look that up. Let's get Google and let's look that up. And I'm going to skip the AI because I just don't like it. So these are residency permits. Issued for 1 year period, may be renewed up to 7 times upon the requirements of the physician training specialty program. So that's what an institutional permit is, and this is the AI overview. And it was for his residency. He never practiced. He has a license and he never practiced. So this was the permit that covered his residency. And this explains what these are. This is the Texas Medical Board. They call it a physician in training program. A physician in training permit allows a qualified person to participate in postgraduate medical training or fellowship program. A PIT permit is restricted to the supervised practice of medicine that is part of the training or fellowship program. Please note that the medical school or college is not added to the substantial equivalence list for the purpose of being considered for a postgraduate training program. So that's what he had. And he never went on, apparently, because it's gone. Because it expired. And he just didn't practice after that. Either that or the Army, because he did work in the Army with it, according to his bio, which I have read other places. He just never bothered to get a license in Texas to practice medicine once he got out of the Army. Which is a shame, because we do need primary care physicians. Dirty, rotten shame. Okay. I'm going to take this down. Now, this is what the business he's in currently. He's been in some other businesses, but let's use this one because this is a good one. I'm going to move this. Ah, we have somebody in the chat. Hello, High Potential. How you doing? Oh, all right. I can show you some of what Pete Chambers has done in the past. Let's get that out here. This is fun. He is anti-vaccine. And hopefully he's still in business. He is in business. Okay. Oh, crud. Let's get rid of the About Us. Come on. This is not fair, folks. Okay. This was one of his businesses. We will get it on the Wayback Machine. And I can show you some of his posts in Telegram. He's very anti-vax, which I can say. And until recently, let's go back. Let's see if the thing was still around in February. I think it was. Okay, we're going to get a look at this. If this ever shows up. Okay. At-home care, how to advocate for loved ones who are hospitalized. We are a team of nurses and health professionals, a naturopath, a bulldog, and one Green Beret flight surgeon. That's Doc Pete. And this tells you about them. So let's get this. If it ever gets where it's going. Welcome to Patient Advocate Bulldog, your go-to resource for information and support for innovative products when it comes to advocating for your own health and wellness. Learn more about Patient Advocate Bulldog and our mission to empower patients and families. Here are some of the key resources. Access a wide range of resources in our video library and our document library. We've got testimonials. We've got all kinds of other stuff. Let's take a look in their video library and their document library. If this ever opens up again. And here are a lot of things they have. And you'll get a flavor of some of what he has if the videos will show, which they won't. I don't think. Okay. Blood money in U.S. healthcare. Let's view that one. And this page is not available. But I can take you over to his Telegram, where he still is very anti-vax. Let me get my Telegram back out. It hides. I got on Telegram for another project, and I've sort of stuck around. Let's see. We got you, Doc. Okay. He's very Trumpist as well. I'm not really going to deal with that at the moment. Let me see if I can get back to some of his health stuff. Let's see. He doesn't have that much. Lately, he's been doing relief work in North Carolina. There he is. He is handsome as heck. When he wears a suit, he looks a little plump. I think he's lost some weight because he looks a lot better. Let's see. That's another thing he's into. Again, this is usually the job of police. If I can find some of his anti-COVID stuff. I can get a little further in. Most of this is North Carolina stuff. Let's see. Make sure I keep the squishy. That's not the squishy. I call this my squishy. Yep. Let's see. I can search within this. That's probably better. Go. You can just pick any of these. Preferably the older stuff is probably better. Okay. He's got a lot of these up here. The BBC issued a humiliating apology after it admitted that its captions put up during a debate on excess deaths in Britain were biased. Let's see if I can find another one. Yep, here's one. DOD blocks. I can't make this bigger, which is unfortunate. DOD blocks medical officers' computer access after he exposed alarming surge in heart issues among vaccinated pilots. So you see the kind of thing he puts up. Try another one here. Female Air Force reservist wins new job and promotion after fighting COVID vaccine mandate. I mean, when you think about it, troops live in close quarters. So I'm very pro-vaccine. Forwarded from Rumble, How We Are GMO'd series, shedding our products. We have been lied to for 100 years. The continuation of the series, How We Are GMO'd. Rumblecom, naturopathic Dr. Will Spencer reveals solution to remediate the bodies, and I'm suspecting that's Shetty. Go back a little further, we get some other interesting stuff. Sweeping ban on COVID-19 vaccine mandates by private employers heads to governor. This is Texas. And again, you can get in further if you want. COVID vaccination mandates severely damage trust in U.S. military leaders. He has these all over his. This used to be a pretty steady diet. Our good friend Lisa McGee with Todd Callender, he's another one. Vax Choice team has spent countless hours in research. Well, he's not a politician. He was selling, I could show you what he was selling. He was making some money here. Let me get us back to where we were. This is the About Us. And if you want to see the products, they're over here. He had all kinds of stuff, if it'll ever show us. I don't know what happened to the business. I don't think it made very much money. There's a lot of competition, you know? But he was selling this wonderful stuff, including a jab rescue kit. Thankfully, it's $255 and nobody ever gave it to me, thankfully. There's a respiratory rescue kit and a face mask. And we have probiotic solution, transcendental GI cleanse. You don't need to cleanse your guts. Cellstrom, I think that's some kind of vitamin. Hydrogen peroxide solution, iodine. I don't know what that even is. Little Hoger, My Silver. Will it open up for us and tell what Little Hoger is? It looks pretty ugly. I have no idea, and this is a nice slow web page. Little Hoger is finely ground Appalachian wild-crafted golden seal root powder. While limited research has been done, many have used this powder to minimize infections due to the berberine content in golden seal. I've got a golden seal story, but what we used to say it was used for when I was in college was to get rid of the red eyes from pot. And we have the fallout rescue kit. And we have a jab and shedding scan. I don't think you can get any of this stuff anymore, but that's the kind of stuff he used to sell. So now you see it. And again, I would think it has bioavailability issues because I suspect whatever that is not water soluble. Big problem, how you get something that's not water soluble into your bloodstream. And there are ways, but it's got issues. A little bit of biology and chemistry go a very long way. Anyway, thanks for being here. What can I say? Thank you and hello, and so now that we've seen some of this guy's past, and you see that he's no longer practicing medicine, that is actually a really smart move. Let's look at his present. And I'm going to warn you, I'm a bit of a religion geek. Anybody, oops, that's not my door here. This is the door. Anybody who is a Bal Tshuva, which means somebody who became religious as a Jew who became religious as an adult by choice, is going to be a religion geek. It comes with the territory. And I was always interested in the history of religions. I was interested in Western history when I was in high school, and a lot of it stuck. So here we have the Remmant Ministry is a collaborative organization of churches united to share the heavenly mission. The Remmant Ministry honors and applies the Word of God to vindicate the weak and the fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and destitute, rescue the weak and the needy, and deliver them out of the hand of the wicked. Operating as an association of churches, they provide crucial support in border operations. They're not giving water and food to the people who cross that border. Child trafficking recovery through Operation Millstone and church ministry training. And they partner with leading child rescue teams, providing resources to strengthen local and nationwide partner churches. And it's fun to look at the partners. This one is former military. This one up here, I was looking earlier tonight because I do a little rehearsing. This one performs child rescues, but it's not like Covenant House or anything, which does hundreds and hundreds of kids a year. And Covenant House has its issues, but it does get them off the street. This is an interesting one. This is on CloutHub. If I click on it, it will show up. And I signed on to CloutHub so I could watch something of Pete's the other day. Call me what you like. Okay, it's the best term I can come up with, Bal Tshuva. It's a good term because Jews do not have a remnant. Jews talk about an eternal remnant in the prayer book, but we don't have an elect. We don't schism the way Christians do. The Christians had a Reformation and they split their church right down the middle. Protestants on one side, Catholics on the other. Jews don't do that. The Reformed Jews down the street are still Jews. They can walk into our synagogue. We'll say, hello. Glad you came in. Time to learn. I go to an Orthodox synagogue. You know, here's a siddur. It's got a translation in English. You get your choice of siddur in our synagogue. Our synagogue would not be the most friendly place because we don't have one siddur and we don't have somebody working the page board at the front of where they show what page you're on. Because people are often reading along in their own language and they get either ahead or behind. And that helps people find their place. We don't have that because we have multiple prayer books. So we'd start them probably with either a Koran Siddur or an Art Scroll. Those are the two publishers. And somebody would point out where we are in the service, and they could read along in English, which is what I do, and they would learn. They'd learn how to handle a 1 hour service, a 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hour service on a Saturday morning, and how to find their way through the service on their own. That's a lot of work, but they could learn it, and you're in. You're in, and then some places will even offer classes on how to become religious, how to become. We use the word from because there's a whole bunch of things you need to learn to do. You need to cashier your kitchen. You change the way you buy food. You change the way you eat out. Um, you make some kind of peace with praying in a liturgy. There's a whole host of things you do, but that doesn't. Just because somebody doesn't know how to do those things does not make them Jewish. Does not make them less Jewish. You're either in or you're out. There are some arguments about who is in, but they have nothing to do with what people believe or the way they practice their faith. So now you know that. So this makes me enough of a religion geek that I can find my way around. Now these are some of the this is one of the partner organizations. It's out on CloutHub, which is an alternative to YouTube. And this is tonight's. I have not looked at it. Let me get to the channels I subscribe to, because that's a lot better. This is Vac's Choice, and they put on videos. And this was the video I went to see. The Remmant. They call it the Remmant Rising, but the name that it actually has is Remnant Reformation. There was a great picture I kind of took apart last night. We can actually bring that up. I have it up in my Miro, so you don't have to go to CloutHub. And this is the beginning of this video. I'm going to freeze it, and we can take a look. This in the background, I did the research on it last night. Is one of the Republic of Texas flags when Texas was a republic. This is a Catholic church. Doc Pete, as far as I know, is a Protestant. He's non-denominational Protestant. And I hate this font. So Reformation has nothing to do with this. And remnant has its own meaning. So put the two together, you've got a very strange term. And we did the linguistics last night. This is actually a really, really interesting video to watch. And we're here tonight, and we're going to do a little more with some of the partner organizations with the Remnant Ministries. And you'll have to bear with me, I am a bit of a religion geek. Anybody who became religious as an adult learns a heck of a lot. And it becomes a piece of just how you negotiate the world. And while there are people who hate religion, I like the word religion. And one of the reasons I really like it is you can add an S to it. And there's a bunch of them out there. There's mine, there's yours. You can say creed if you prefer, but there are differences. And there are different ways of approaching things. There are different ways of approaching practical things. For example, you may be in a church with a dress code, or a synagogue with a dress code. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to deal with somebody that is breaking the dress code? And, you know, humans are social animals. Humans are social animals, and religion deals with the social side of spirituality. That's just me talking. Little editorializing before we pull back the curtain and make sure that the noisemaker is on. I'm going to pull it back, and we are going to transition out. And you may be watching some videos tonight that are kind of interesting. We'll talk about them a little bit. Let me take this down. No, I don't want to do that. I want to minimize. That would have been serious. And where we're going to go first is This is the Remnant Ministry TX. This is our friend. He's up there preaching. He is a doctor who's become a reverend. And we've got a bunch of these. When you click on this, all you'll get told to do is donate. It doesn't tell you what Operation Millstone is. We know it's to bring home trafficked children. Let's look at the partners. And I want to start with the Association for the Recovery of Children. We looked at them last night. And this tells you about them. And what they do is, we are the most effective child recovery organization in the U.S. And ARC exercises clandestine component to its operations and contracts through various sources of intelligence to facilitate the recovery of missing, abducted, trafficked, and exploited American children in the U.S. and foreign locations. Anybody, that's not what I want. I'll get good at this. Who don't they rescue? I'll read this again. ARC exercises a clandestine component to its operations, contracted through various sources of intelligence to facilitate the recovery of missing, abducted, trafficked, and exploited American children in the U.S. or foreign locations. Okay. That is going to tell you something. Let me tell you what, we're going to put this in Miro. Miro land, here we come. Gonna get us open. You know what it takes to set up a Miro board. And I'm gonna put us over here next door. Let's go to 100%. Okay, and I'm going to set up a text box, and the text is going to be 40 points. 64 points is good too. And there's an A here. And I'll pull us back so we can see all of this. I have to break it up, I will. There we are, this is better. So, whom do they not rescue? I could make a very long list. I'm going back to black. If those kids get brought to America to work as domestic servants or exploited in some other way, sorry, not our business. That's number one. And no, they can't do everything. I get they can't do everything. But we can go a little further on this website. And here's their goal. No cost to the custodial guardians. Okay, they are types of ARC rescues. At no cost to the custodial guardians, generally ARC's assistance is provided after families or affiliates have exhausted all resources through local, state, federal, and international law enforcement intervention, through the various special relationships within law enforcement, etc., etc., etc. Let's go there. We'll go back to Miro land. And we want to be at 100% again. Here we are. Tell you what, let's make another box. Those are good. Let me put us at 100. And here's our new box. Oh, that's much better. At no cost to, I don't want to do that. At no cost to the custodial guardians. Generally, our ARC's assistance is provided after blah, 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 blah. What do you notice? What's the word you notice here? Stick out like sore, stinky. That's not what I want. There. That's not what I want. Control Z, Control Z. Okay. This is what I want. Bold. Okay, let's get to 100 where we can see all this. At no cost to the custodial guardians. That's parents and relatives. This leaves a question. And again, I'm going to see if any of you are out here tonight that can answer this. Does every kid have a custodial guardian? Or a responsible custodial guardian? What about foster children? They have custodial guardians, but does anybody care? What about runaways and throwaways? What about a parent who's kicked out their kid? Are we going to find those? Are we going to find those? And again, they can't do everything. They really can't. I get it. But there are organizations that serve kids like this and that serve kids in other parts of the world. We're going to take a look. And some of this is just having lived in the world. But we could look up Covenant. Let me get Google up here for everybody. And of course, not that. And of course, if they are not helping throwaways and runaways, yeah, I'll put that on there too for folks, just so they get a feel. And let's give this a background so we can all see it. Okay. Let's look for an organization that does help kids like that. I'm going to bring up Google. And we're going to look for Covenant House. I just want the international one, though. There's one in every city. This is Covenant House, Georgia. I'm actually looking for any Covenant House. And here they are serving Thanksgiving. Yeah, these are the kids who are on the streets. Youth homelessness. And here we have the issues. This is very different from that other website, isn't it? Let's get this big enough for everybody to read and give it a pull. And of course, human trafficking is something they address. Youth facing homelessness are extremely vulnerable to human trafficking. Yeah. Human trafficking is fraud. The most common form of human trafficking is sexual exploitation worldwide, and nearly 20% of all trafficking victims are children. Any person can become a victim of human trafficking. Young people experiencing homelessness are especially vulnerable. 1 in 2 Covenant House residents at our Latin American sites are trafficking survivors. 1 in 5 Covenant House residents across our U.S. and Canada sites are survivors of human trafficking. And this tells you how you can prevent it. Notice there's very little military language here. And there's 4 things you can do. This is very different, as I said. So this is one organization that's out there. And again, this is a different world over here from this. The other organization, I believe, is called EPCAT. And they will go after people who are not in the U.S., working together to end the sexual exploitation of children. And I knew about them because I found them in Second Life. They have a library. You could explore countries. They are all over the world. And we have one for the United States. And we have Protect All Children from Trafficking. And there you are. You can actually get to the American version of EPCAT, Protect All Children from Trafficking, which is PACT. And again, the whole layout is different. And if you look at who they partner with, these are their programs: educational, professional trainings, legislative advocacy, view all programs. Now, they're not necessarily going to rescue a kid. That's the police or Covenant House. To empowering youth and communities with knowledge and skills to stay safe, to advocate against sexual exploitation. And they have a they have a CSAM prevention program. And if you can keep somebody safe before they're taken, that's even better. And again, this is just a very different thing. And this is for people in hotels, because this is where you might see it. And this is how to catch them in the hotel. We could watch this.
I've been in a bunch of hotels. Nice, not so nice. I've seen them all. The worst is when my pimp books a room for the day, and I gotta work all kinds of men. One after another. Last week on our way, the new girl I work with asked me how old I was. 17, I said. I lied. I'm really 13. On our way out of the hotel, the guy at the front desk looked at me. We looked at each other. I feel like he knew something was wrong or off or whatever. but he looked away. They always look away. It's weird because there must be something they can do. Right?
I'm going to take us back, and that was quick. There are some longer ones here, and I wouldn't put you all through that, but this is a very different approach. But they would obviously not have any problem with a Mexican kid or a Haitian kid or whatever nationality that kid is. There's different ways to do rescue. Okay, let me take this down, and I'm going to check our squawk. Nobody in the squawk tonight, but that's fine. We got all the time in the world. Let me get us back here. We've been out to Vac's Choice before. I'm going to take us over to America's Black Robe Regiment, and we're going to open it up. And I am not going to put you through watching a video. A lot of them are Zoom school. But you can come over here and you can watch them on your own. And they have a bunch of below our videos from our recent Pastors Huddle meetings every Wednesday. And you'll see they have one on cryptocurrency. This one is on constitutional sheriffs, True the Vote, all kinds of conservative causes. And that's kind of all they have here. They don't have a lot. There may be more out on YouTube. They have something called the Gideon Pledge, which is interesting. Basically, what it's asking people to do, for pastors to do, is get souls to the poll and encourage people to vote and tell them how to vote. And that is not as controversial as it sounds. What I'm not seeing, and this is like really important, what I'm not seeing when I look at this is 7 mountains and a few other things. Now I'm waiting for these videos to come around. What I'm not seeing is the idea that Christians should be running the country and everybody else can go take a hike. I hear a little bit of it, but it's not commonly what I see. What I'm seeing more of is just plain conservative and somewhat libertarian causes, and also I am seeing kind of a libertarian streak where they didn't want to be closed up for COVID-19 or have to wear masks and stuff like that. A lot of that is obeying your local and state government. That kind of escapes them. You can be critical, but I don't think this is Christian nationalism. Now, if you don't know what Christian nationalism is, we're going to take a trip to Wikipedia land. And the way I do that is Christian nationalism and Wikipedia. And for those of you who know, let's make some space over here. I can do this down here as easy as I can do this anywhere. And I need to go to my Smart Shapes. Okay, and I'm going to get my pen and make a circle. Make another circle. Yep, that one became smart, the other did not. I don't know why. And here we have Christian nationalism. I'm going to go back to scratching. Christian nationalism. And we want it on Wikipedia because we want a quick and dirty definition. No harm in using Wikipedia for that. And we'll get our that should go in there. Let me turn off the smart drawing and get that guy in there where he belongs. But anyway, that is our search, and we're going to run it back out here. Christian nationalism and Wikipedia. By the way, these could be on either side, and we're going to run the search. And there we have the definition. And it says here, Christian nationalism is a form of religious nationalism that focuses on promoting Christian views of its followers in order to achieve prominence or dominance in political or social life. Some branches of Christian nationalism seek to establish an exclusivist vision of Christianity as the dominant moral and cultural order. I don't see this here. I see a lot of supporting conservative causes and somewhat libertarian causes, but I don't see that. And in the United States, I'm looking Russia, Scotland, South Africa. Okay. Christian nationalism asserts that the United States is a country founded by and for Christians. I do hear that from time to time. Christian nationalists in the United States are a fusion of identitarian Christian identity and cultural conservatism with American civic belonging, has been noted to bear overlap with Christian fundamentalism, white supremacy, and the Seven Mountains Mandate movement, and dominionism. These are important words, and we're gonna open them up and take a look. Okay. The Seven Mountains Mandate, and they have a bunch of synonyms, is a dominionist conservative Christian movement within the Pentecostal and evangelical Christianity, particularly independent charismatic groups. It holds that there are 7 aspects of society that believers should seek to influence or dominate: family, religion, education, media, arts, entertainment, business, and government. I don't see health. That's interesting. I don't see medicine. And I don't really see a lot of these 7 things here. I see crypto, I see constitutional sheriffs. I didn't look at all of these, but it doesn't sound like they're talking about setting up their own schools and that kind of thing. Or creating their own media, so it doesn't feel like it. Dominion theology, also known as dominionism, is a group of Christian political ideologies that seek to institute a nation governed by Christians based on their understanding of biblical law. Again, I don't really see this here. So we're just dealing with politics here, and we're dealing with a little bit of what people call grift. Look what they're selling. We saw this last night, but it's fun. Gotta keep the computer running. So this is a supplement. I have no idea what's in it. But there it is. You can drink it, and it's supposed to be good for you. And there's lots of these here. So that's our friends over at, Black Robe Regiment. Now over here at Vax Choice, we've got all kinds of videos, and we're going to do this as kind of a segue into the rest of this show. I'm going to grab the channel. And they have lots of stuff up. This is the latest one. And if you listen to some of this, you'll get a flavor for what I've kind of been taking a bath in.
Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who mean just what they say,
That open border policy is resulting in what I say second and third order effects. These are the effects of a bad policy that are creating havoc in this nation. It is creating a human osmotic pressure wave of people that are being used as pawns to overwhelm the system of America. Freedom and peace. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with being American.
Hello, Vax Choice community.
And
then it went on to become a mission, a place where
I'm going to move on with this a little bit just to get a feel of what this is like. And you listen to it, I'm going to stop it periodically. This, again, he does not have nationalistic visions for the whole country, taking over the whole country. But I find his politics and his stance on sides odious. This is Doc Pete, folks, over on the right. And over here, I don't know much about Melissa McAtee.
that with the future of what's coming in with this administration, we will play a significant role in not only the repatriation process, which is essentially deportations of the worst, right? Of those that are here to do harm in America. That is going to be key critical to us keeping chaos off of our streets. And I don't have a crystal ball on what that looks like. I know that if we do our job, nobody will ever know that it happened.